Hey there everybody, Nimbok here. Time for the second video on the tutorial. We're going to take on Sand Kingdom in this video, of course. Now, when you're doing this, you're going to want to skip cutscenes as soon as you're transitioning kingdoms. So this is the only time where you have to actually spam B. There's going to be these annoying transitions. The reason you spam B is because he would bring you in the action guide there. But there's these annoying transitions. Yeah, the sham wedding is when it's the last text, just skip it. I usually just spam plus here, so as soon as that opens I could skip it. After Mario walks out, there's going to be another cutscene in the kingdoms. And then, because that just shows the missions. If there are no missions in the kingdom, it won't have that. So just ruined or lost. Okay, so we're going to want to go as fast as possible here, just rolling. Because... you know, what I do is I do this. I usually miss it like that, but as long as I don't fall down, it's not that bad. This cactus, I mean, people have a way of identifying this cactus. You'd want to do this and then just, okay, that was terrible. But you know, you just kind of want to get up from that one. That's where you can. Most people kill the bird if they can get there. You don't have to take the wire. That's just what I do. Yeah, you could get up there quite some ways. It'll be different where he falls. But after you get the bird, you'd want to get the overlooking the desert one. Now, I will be showing you the route of this. I'll speak about alternatives, but we won't actually get the alternatives. So you're going to want to be around... So you see this little spot, and this little 4 spots. You're going to want to be right in the middle. And then... it'll be right there. What I usually do for ground pound ones is I ground pound then immediately backflip, like crouch flip. Now say you missed the bird, this is where your second chance would come into play. You actually have a third chance in this route, but if you want to get it over with early, just wait for him. And then when he gets to a certain point, you just do this. Yeah, I missed him, but you get the idea. Once you get there, you want to go this way as fast as possible and go into this thing. You could either shake or long jump. I prefer to long jump and get this moon and then just long jump out. You can also, you know, shake and stuff, but I find long jumping easier. But generally you would want to do a lot of shake rolling for good movement in this. This would be another chance if you're up on this thing. Well, it'd be difficult, but you can if you're fast. But that would kind of be out of the way. I recommend a later spot will find him. Now this spot, it's kind of hard to explain. It's kind of awkward. I don't know how to explain it, but right on the very top of this, it's kind of hard to find. I find it in the darker part of the sand somewhat, like right in the border of that. It's hard to find if you don't see it, but I recommend just putting the camera like this, like towards that, and then you'll kind of see where the middle is. Yeah, and then once you get the exact middle, it's pretty precise. Once you got the top of the dune, you can go there. And now we're gonna head this way. Don't bonk into that cactus if you can help it. This is the first difficult jump of sand. There's actually kind of 2. We do this. The ground pound jump is really crucial. You can do other jumps. Say you don't make the jump, and I find the best way to do this is here. You could also triple jump here, but I find the best way, if you miss it, is just to head back here, do that. And it's not that difficult of a jump, but this is where it's a little difficult. You can do a normal jump, but for extra height, what I prefer to do is that. Right after this one, I'll say that this isn't the optimal route. I'm just showing you the route that I find easiest. And the route that I do. Of course, I don't have that great of a time. But you know, that jump's pretty simple. I'll show it in another way too. You technically, I think you could just... yeah, you could do it with a normal jump. But, of course, you want to watch out for the Goombas. But, you know, you could cap jump. There's a lot of ways to get over that. That jump's not too bad. Now you do this. Generally, fast movement, you want to grab that moon before Cappy says we're sinking or whatever. That's how you know if you got that one relatively quick. If he says the sinking, then you know you're a little bit worse than you should be. What I do here is I ground pound jump. There's different ways like triple jump. I get this crate. Now I want to mention, in exchange for other ones that we'll see, you can get those 2 towers up there. And what you'll do to get them, I won't literally show them. You have to know where they are. There's like one before the tower, one after it. You ground pound and, you know, do that sort of thing. But that's just a backup. When you get like right here, you just long jump. You could cap dive. That's what I do. Something I should mention about cap diving. You saw I didn't hold it there. You kind of want to hold it at least a second. But anyways, this part's kind of crucial. You want to make sure to hit this checkpoint. You could hit it with your hat. But you know, I'll explain a little bit more in cap dives in later parts if it kind of helps. This spot, you just kind of sink a bit, and then you spam the jump button so you won't fully sink. This is kind of an obscure moon, but you know, if you know it, you know it, of course. And then, this is where the route's different from optimal, but I find it much easier. And I'll show you where another optional moon to cut ones out if you find them difficult. Anyways, there's, you just spam A on this because it's the ring. The other optional one is you can you can talk to him like 4 or so times, and like more times, and you'll get that. The reason I recommend doing this moon is you get a lot of coins. You don't really have to worry about having not enough, because look at that, you get like a lot of coins. When you collect this moon, normally in a normal route, if you're most routes, you would teleport as soon as you land. But if you teleport, it actually, I don't know, it's well, you'll see. I get this one, which I find is funny, because the sheep just goes boom. But you can't teleport in the air, basically, is what I'm saying. As soon as you press this, you'll want to spam through A, because the first time you open it, Cappy's going to talk. You want to go back up to the sand pillar, because we're going to get a few more around the area. That luggage one was not one in the route as well. Well, no, the luggage one is in most routes, but the Sphinx isn't. So what we're going to want to do, get this bullet bill. This is where the jump's a little difficult, but luckily you have the checkpoints here nearby it. You want to break that block, you know, simple enough, just don't run into other stuff. Even if the bullet bill is somewhat far away, he won't explode. It's like based on how long you've been in that. You want to get this moon, then right after you get past the pillar, you're going to want to turn left, kind of get like right here, and I'll explain that. So you see that little, like, this little spot is where I usually do it. It's a difficult jump. I think there's visual cues on the dock. You don't have to do this, but you can get these coins if you feel like for some reason you're short. You're only going to need like 200, 300 depending on your route. But you know, you can move while you're getting that. I just wanted to... You want a long jump, hold your cap a little bit so you could dive, and then, you know. I should mention you can't infinite dive, so that's a thing. This is just the easiest route. There's faster routes out there. I recommend watching World Record if you want to improve after you get this down. So you want to jump a little bit so you can get up high enough. Get this one. I should mention, I think the optimal route would have 2 left right now, because they would move back to the Odyssey. But what you could do, as you'll notice, the bird's right there. He would be actually a little closer, but I waited to explain stuff. Here's like a sort of like the big dune, except it's small. Just right where like you see like this and this. I go right in the middle of that darker spot. Mario, look down, and you'll be good. So that's where the birds gather. After this, you would teleport. I should mention, right up there, you would get those notes as in like a faster run, I believe. But now this is where you would teleport to the Odyssey, which is always a possibility in every world. A kingdom rather. Then you just throw it at it. You're done. You don't have to do any of the main quests. It's just getting enough moons in every place, unless you're doing world peace. Which world peace is a different story, but I think it's a fun category. Check out the leaderboard if you're interested. But yeah, this is where you would split if you're like me. Press A. This thing will go away. And as soon as after this, you're going to want to spam A, but I won't do that because that's enough. Well, actually, stupid phone. I'm going to put lake in this video because wooded's decently long and lake's short. So we'll show lake, and you would spam A here. You'd want to choose lake because it's short. It's not necessarily super easy until you get it down. But, you know, you'd spam the cutscenes as usual. Skipping the cutscenes, I mean. Spam through his text. Shortly after it says, like, that yellow part is usually when there's time to skip. It's just basically the stuff Bowser's stealing and description on the kingdom. There's usually one before and one after if there's any missions. And then, the route here is World Peace is exactly the same. You want to ground pound this one first. Obviously 253 and other ones get it more. You do a triple jump, cap bounce. It's really easy. You could also wall jump and stuff. You can hit this if you don't feel comfortable, but I think a triple jump is of course faster. Shaking with this is faster because the speed like this is like that, but if you shake it's a bit faster. When this coin goes here, I stop shaking like right around here, and then long jump. If you shake too long, you'll bonk. Then once you get here, you're gonna want to get around here, and you want to ground pound right around here. And like I was too low because I was describing it, and then you'll want to do a ground pound, and then the Y button similar to the dive controls, and you'll do that. You want to get this cheap. Dory should just be coming around right now. I know I'm going fast with this, but that's kind of the cycle how Dory is. Then you'll collect two more things, one of them being a multi-moon. You could shake with here if you don't feel comfortable with that. You can ground pound and get out of the cheap, but I wouldn't recommend that because what we're about to do. Now what's really nice about this moon is right when you go on this, once you collect this, you could actually move the camera. Now this is going to be a jump I'm going to show. I'm only going to show it once, but I'm going to show you a backup because usually you would only try it once. You would jump out of that and then do that, and then you would hit this and go up here. I'm going to hit the checkpoint, but I'm going to show you the backup that's of course slower. If you miss it and the cheap despawns, you go down here. You can ground pound jump, but if you're over here, say like you missed the triple jump, do this, and it's like that. But then the problem is you're over here. You can just whoops, hold on. I usually take this and then do it, but you could just long jump, do this. And the thing is, if you don't long jump, you'll be down here. That's why. Well, actually, you'll always be down there with that, but you'll be like right there if you do the cheap jumps. You'll want to do that, and if you miss it, that's a backup. Now this boss is hard at first. You just throw that immediately though, and then what I do, wait for him to take his hat down. See, the problem is if you miss it, you have to do this. But as soon as he stops, I'm gonna die here actually, cause I want to show it with full health, and I got the checkpoint. Was that a heart? I think that was a heart just now. Obviously you don't see it now, but throw it to the right a little bit. As soon as he does it, right when he grabs his hat, and do it again. Well, because he temporarily has it. He takes time to optimize. I recommend practicing him with a save file. But in general, he's pretty easy. And you can collect these coins if you're so low, but you shouldn't be low. You only need a little bit unless you do a different like seaside route and stuff. Then you collect your thing. I'll mention some routes vary a lot like luncheons, so that one might be different from how some people do it. Because those are longer ones, but lake, this is really the universal route. Routes might change over time. I just think this is a good beginner route for all these kingdoms. Anyways, when you complete complete a mission like this where it brings you back to the Odyssey, Mario's going to do that thing. If there's another mission, you'll skip it with the cutscene, which will be in wooded. Then you just throw it in here as fast as possible. Then you'll have 29. Same thing, you could split whenever you want. You could technically split every moon if that's what you want to do, but this is where most people split, is around this time. Some people split on the fade out right there. But now we're gonna go to wooded. I'm gonna save that for the next video, and we'll do 2 more kingdoms. So I'll mention my loss is gonna be different. We're gonna do wooded and cloud in the next one. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you guys in the next one. See you later. Well, actually, I might add loss to that because loss is short. So I'll see you in the next one. Anyways.